This Sunday, we have, as we continue through the green season and these more generalized readings, we have an interesting pairing in the epistle, which is from the letter to the Hebrews, and the gospel lesson. The Hebrews passage, the anonymous author, we don't know exactly who wrote that letter to the Hebrews, but is talking about the cloud of witnesses that we have. And there's very much the sense that there are folks who have led us on our way, who have given us an example of a life well lived. And then in kind of an answer to that, Jesus talks about the end times and saying, how strange that you know how to tell the times of the weather, with this whole thing with red sky at night, sailors delight, red sky in morning, sailors take warning, that you know how to read the skies and yet you don't know how to read the times. So both things very much focused on the prize, the goal, a life well lived. And that, of course, is something in that Christian pilgrimage that we think about a lot. How do we exemplify God's truth, God's mercy, God's love to the world around us? And of course, we do look at that cloud of witnesses that came before us as being one of the ways that we understand the times that we live in. So of course, our music will all reflect that as we move through these ideas liturgically. We'll start off the service with a really rousing hymn, "Awake my soul, stretch every nerve, and press with vigor on." Really starting us right off thinking about the goal of our life, about how we are to live our lives in service to the world and ministering in Christ's name. In our hymnal, it's matched with a tune that is excerpted from an opera by George Frederick Handel. So they've taken this secular tune and turned it into this really rousing hymn tune. You might even recognize that that tune is sometimes sung with the Christmas hymn, "While Shepherds Watch Their Flocks by Night." And you can hear that, "While shepherds watch their flocks by night." So you hear that tune in a couple of different guises. At the sequence, at the 10:30 service, we'll be singing "Judge Eternal, Throned in Splendor, Lord of Lords and King of Kings," with this beautiful German Baroque chorale. So while it has the feel of kind of a Bach chorale from one of the cantatas, the text is surprisingly fresh in its meaning. It was written well over 100 years ago, and yet it still seems very contemporary with its idea about how the church can relate to the world around us. And so again, it's really thinking about our goal, about how we are to live as Christians, showing God's love in the world. At the offertory, the choir will be singing a piece that we took, yet again, another piece that we took on our trip this summer to Ely. We'd kind of decided we were going to take a break from that music that we have kind of sung it all we want to sing for a while. And yet, one of the pieces that we sang is a contemporary setting of very ancient medieval words by the Venerable Bede. "Christ is the morning star who calls his saints into glory." And it just fits so perfectly with our readings that we decided we're going to sing one more piece from our trip this summer. And it really is an exciting piece. It has a brilliant bubbling organ accompaniment, and the choir has this ethereal sound as we are evoking the idea of the saints in heaven, that cloud of witnesses that we can always look to for guidance. And then at the very end of the service, we'll be going out with another super rousing hymn, "Go forth for God, go to the world in peace." And each verse has that same formula. Go forth for God, go to the world in love, go to the world in strength, and then finally go to the world in joy. It's a wonderful hymn, and obviously it picks up on the end of the Eucharistic prayer, "Go in peace to love and serve the Lord." And you can hear those echoes, and a really powerful, exciting hymn tune. notes that were written specifically for that text. So we invite you to join us as we awake and stretch every nerve and then ultimately go out to the world in love and joy. Join us for worship this weekend at St. John's.